Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we're shipping out today on Tuesday, so it was a pretty good day again. So yeah, it's been pretty good for a couple of days. We did have some like bad days last week, but also like some really good days. So it's still been like kind of like a roller coaster, but it's been okay so far. All right, so the first thing right here is the Bloody Sands, this Sikaris right here. This is going to be a role-playing fantasy like little module for the D20 system, which means like you would use it for like Dungeons and Dragons because they use a D20 for doing all their like checks and stuff. So this is just going to be a cool little adventure by like, a little side company called Arcanus. It sold for $7.59 plus shipping. Everything's going to be plus shipping, so I'll save us the time right now. All right, next up is these Prizer little miniature train figures. This one was pretty cool. I got like a little bit of these at an auction. I've sold them a long time ago when Anetta picked some stuff up with like a train lot that she bought a long time ago. So yeah, these people are like European style hikers. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I knew someone would like these if I took good pictures. I did end up selling for $20.99. They looked pretty cool. I thought they were like cool, even though I don't have like a train village or anything like that. I just thought they were interesting. Moving along, this is a really good sale. Panasonic RQL 315. This one's sealed. This is like a vintage tape recorder. Anetta said she used to use these things when she was a kid to like record songs and stuff like that. I'm sure me and my brothers use some of these. I just don't remember any off the top of my head. I remember she went to, I think this was like a crazy estate sale. I had a job at the time, so I was working, so I couldn't make it. And then I think they were doing like a 75% off, and then they didn't sell everything. And the next day they did like 85% off. Yeah, Netta said it was the fourth weekend for the sale. I think she said there was a ton of stuff there, and then the estate sale company had to get all the stuff gone. So she was getting stuff really cheap, really good stuff.
And the people were focused on the art because it was an artist who
had
like
okay.
a bunch of collections.
Yeah, okay. She said that it was an artist, so people were really focused on like more like they were mainly going there for the art stuff, and Netta was going there not for the art stuff, for other stuff like this. So yeah, we sold some others a lot. Most of the stuff she got from that place has been long gone, way before we started the channel. This is, I think, when we were doing part-time. Like I said, I had a different job. This ended up selling for $100, this one right now. So that's super cool, super exciting. I just remember that she went to that. I don't know if she knew I was going to remember that, but I did. All right, I remember where I get a lot of this stuff, honestly. It's kind of crazy. There's just like all these little stories in my head about everything. All right, move along. We have Salvador Crowley swashbuckler little pirate miniature right here. Got him at auction. He ended up selling for $6. Really cool, like quality pirate figure. He has like a chest in his hand. He has his little swashbuckler sword. This has a lot of details, which doesn't matter when you're looking at it right now, and it's great. But when someone paints it, it's going to be like a really cool, either like miniature piece or a using for like a game or something, or for some kind of display. When a miniature has more details, you get to paint more stuff, and it just pops if you're a really good painter. Or even if you're like an okay miniature painter, it looks really good. All right, moving along, we have this HeroClix, the autopilot Batmobile, not Batmobile, this is the Batwing. Geez, not the car. So yeah, really cool. Like HeroClix does have a lot of these. We haven't sold many of these colossal size figures or vehicles. They do have like special rules with them. I think they're a little cumbersome and unwieldy when you're actually playing the game, but I think it's cool that they exist and people do like them. Here's the card. It has all the stats, how it works. This one's actually like a little booklet because it has more to it, more rules right there. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of rules for this card. Pretty fun game, the HeroClix stuff. So this ended up selling for $22.49. All right, moving along. Another really cool card game. This is a living card game. It's not around anymore. Netrunner stuff. So this is going international. It's 8 cards, promo alt-art version cards. They sold for $57.93. This is such a cool game. So the game, real quickly, is there's one person playing a hacker. They are the runner. And then there's someone playing a corporation, and they're trying to score agendas. And each person, it's a game, heads up, a dueling game, will each have their own hacker and their own corporation deck. So you'll play one game as one side, and then after that game, you score up how many agenda points each side got. And then you play the second game where then you swap roles. You still have your own decks you create, and then you also score agendas. Hacker trying to steal them, corporation trying to make them come to fruition. Really cool thing. These are alt-art promo cards that you would have to go to different events to earn them. Some of them were like participation prizes. Some of them you have to get like first, second, or third place. Who knows? If there's 8 people, 24, you have to fight for them, right? So this right here is going to be a runner. This one says like Omar right there. And then this one over here is a corporation asset. It says team sponsorship. I played this game for a couple years, but some of these cards I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played it, but it's a really cool game. All right, so you have Imp. This is a program virus for the hackers. And then we have another identity, Mushin, Notion right here. Actually, it's an operation for the corporations. Right here, we have another program, Black Orchestra, runner right here. This one is Sonny LeBeau. So yeah, this one's like one of the characters that you actually formulate your deck on. It has like little rules of like how many cards are in your deck and then how many faction cards you can have or split factions. It gets like pretty complicated, but it's a really fun one when you get into a political operative right here and then bank job. All right, that was enough about that. I just like the game a lot, and I really like when people appreciate it. I don't have time to play it now. Really good one. Like I said, it was like $57.93 for all 8 of these. I had doubles of almost all these, so I relisted them at the storage unit. All right, next up is going to be this Marks, like incomplete. It's a locomotive, like kind of like the shell. I'm not sure if they put like their little engine under here. This was out of my wheelhouse, and then I got a bunch of train stuff like many years ago, and I recently went through the box and been selling a bunch of it. I sold some of the more expensive ones around the holidays. This was kind of like in that big lot she got. She probably got it pretty cheap from auction when auctions were really cheap at this place like a couple years ago. She was the one that like got me onto auctions. It was really cool and exciting. All right. Next up right here is a lot of 2 train like catalogs, 2003. There's second edition, first edition for K-Line. I think it's just for different like different toys and stuff like that. We got a bunch of these at a estate sale. So yeah, I don't know why the train stuff's been popular. I don't know. I guess people like trains in general, and Netta likes them, and a lot of people like them. So yeah, these 2 book magazines sold for $9. Got a ton of these, probably more than I could handle at the time. I still have another box to list. It's just originally when I was listing these, when I list a bunch of stuff, I usually get like maybe 1 sale or 2 sales. I'm like, okay, cool. People are looking at it. This took a while for these to start selling, but we have sold them slowly over time. So when I was listing a bunch of them, I still had one more box, but I was like, I haven't gotten many sales on them yet. So I switched over to like another thing. So I have to go back to those because they have been selling. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of 30 Dungeon Works. These are super cool. These are like from, I think the 90s, 1998 or something like that. So it was like a box sets where you would get a bunch of little doors and walls for like a little dungeon that you're making it. And I don't know if the magnets were supposed to be on these, but the bottom of these had magnets. So yeah, you're just going to set up your little RPG dungeon for Dungeons and Dragons or whatever game you're playing. Really cool terrain, bits and pieces. Ended up going to Repeat Buyer for $16.79. I actually had like an incomplete set of those. So I listed those, and I listed the empty box separately. All right. Next up is going to be some Roman, Greek, chariot, little soldier figures, 1/72 scale. I think these are actually really cool. Like right here, you have this little horse chariot, which is, I think they're just like decent quality for like little plastic, like resin-ish figures. You have this little chariot with the 4 horses. You have the Roman soldiers here. End up selling for $16.87. This one I listed recently, so it's pretty cool. I just like the little chariot. All right. Next up is going to be something that we haven't sold in a while, but we do have plenty listed. This is something Aneta got me onto. This is a Portuguese olive oil Salio like metal tin. It's an empty tin, so there's no lid or anything. So someone's going to use this to store stuff, maybe like pens, maybe like a shelf piece. Maybe they're going to use it as a vase. Like who knows? So like, but people do collect the empty tins. If you get like odd ones, interesting brands, vintage ones, even some new ones can be good. Like people do like this kind of stuff. $12. I remember this was a weird one because we went to an estate sale. I wasn't finding too much stuff, and I found a little bit of stuff, but then I went into the garage and there was a bunch of these tins on like just like someone had collected them, right? They made like shelves in their garage. And it was their last day of the sale. I think we were at the last hour. We were probably at the last 30 minutes. And I asked the person, or they saw me looking at the tins, and they were like, oh, do you want like all of them? I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, how much do you want to offer for all of them? And in my head, I didn't have space at the time. So I was like, I have to get this really cheap, or I don't even want to mess with it. You know, like a blind buy. I'm not like looking them up. And I go like, oh, like $15. Like done. I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is happening. Do you remember that? Oh, you don't remember that? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. It was like a couple years ago. Oh, yeah. Netta said that, I think they said something, there was a couple of ladies there running the estate sale, and they said something about that, that Aneta was going to have to clean these. And Aneta's like, no, Ross is going to clean them. And he's also the one that does the dishes in the household. And they were like super impressed. They're like, oh, dang, that's awesome. You got a lucky one. He's doing dishes. I remember that. So like, well, I actually remember the part of that estate sale as I remember. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I was just focused on the the tins. It was a pain cleaning them. I still have one more bin of these. Sorry, a lot of rambling today. I just really cool like memories and stuff. It's really cool that people are picking it up. It's good to make a little bit of money on it. So yeah, I lost my train of thought. All right, I'm gonna move on. All right, last thing for the day is going to be 2 of these Warhammer 40K. These are Necron bits and pieces on the sprues. These are still pretty good sprues, as in I don't think there's any pieces missing from them, but these usually come in Warhammer kits where you get a bunch of these, and then that's how you make your figures. You get, you know, the heads or the arms from one section, one sprue, and you get like your weapons from the other. So yeah, these look like they're just a bunch of weapons, some jetpacks, some arms, and some legs. So I don't really see any heads here. I see some bodies. So yeah, no heads or anything, but not all the weapons. But these still ended up selling for $37.48. So that's everything. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's having a good start to their week.